We were at my son and daughter-in-law's house the other day, and he said his refrigerator wasn't working. Now, I'm not a refrigerator repairman, so I was like, well, what am I supposed to do? So we started thinking about it a little bit, and we couldn't figure out why the freezer was working, but the refrigerator part wasn't. Now, that seemed kind of strange, that part would be working and part wouldn't. So we said, well, maybe we should just try to reset the refrigerator. So talking it over, we said, why don't we just pull the plug and let it sit there for a while and plug it back in? Because in our brilliant minds, we were sure that would do it and it would begin to work again. So we waited, unplugged the thing, waited about 10 minutes, plugged it back in, nothing. That wouldn't do it. So then I was like, well, now what are we going to do? We couldn't think of anything else. We were looking at things, we were adjusting the ice tray, we were doing, whatever we thought would come to mind that might help. And none of it did. None of it did. So finally, we thought, we ought to check the manual. So we looked around the house, he couldn't find the manual. So what do you do when you can't find the manual? Well, you go online. So we went online and we started looking at things. And sure enough, we found the manual that said it's probably got some kind of blockage. Something's keeping it from circulating, and maybe it's a fan motor that's broken that's caused it to freeze up. So we thought, wow, that's pretty interesting. Well, how do you fix that? Well, sure enough, we look on YouTube, and here's a step-by-step guide to do that very thing. So it's like, well, should we try to take this refrigerator totally apart or not? Well, when you look at what new refrigerators cost, it's like, well, it's not going to hurt anything. We might as well try to rip into it. But it sure was an interesting reminder that if you don't know what you're doing, it's not going to help. It's not going to help. Just trying everything we tried to initially fix that thing didn't do a bit of good. And it's sure a reminder for all of us spiritually speaking. If we try to do things on our own without direction from God, how's that going to work? It's not going to work very well at all. In fact, that's a good reminder of what it says in Psalm 127. Psalm 127, right at the very beginning of that psalm, says this very thing. It says, unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. Now, that's exactly what we were doing with this refrigerator, just trying our own things, and we had no idea what we were doing. But when we went to the source, when we go to the source in our spiritual life, when we submit ourselves to God and look to Him and allow Him to work in and through our life, then things change. Otherwise, it's just useless. And so what a great lesson for all of us to do that very thing, to make sure we're allowing God to be building our spiritual house. Now, the refrigerator, I'll tell you the end of the story. We followed the YouTube video, we took it all apart. Finally, we got the back of this thing off, and it was frozen solid as a rock. And so we got a hairdryer out, we started melting all the ice off of that and recognized that it was probably because this air vent was blocked by food and extra stuff that was in there that caused it to get too cold and freeze up. So we unthawed that thing, and then the moment of truth came when we were going to plug that thing in and see if it actually started working again. You know what? It did. It did. Now, the question is it going to continue to work or not? But for a moment, there was a great triumph as we turned to the manual, as we looked to the book, as we looked to the source on how to make things work, make that refrigerator work. When it comes to our life, go to the source that really shows us how things work. Let's turn to God and allow Him to build our spiritual house. That's BT Daily. We'll see you next time.